Well, greetings, friends. Thank you for joining me today. This week we've been looking at heroes, or David's mighty men. Now, we're not going to cover them all. There were 37 of them. But today I want to look at one more, and his name was Uriah the Hittite. Now, he wasn't even a Jew, and yet he was on David's side. He fought for him, and he was a hero. Now, who was Uriah? Well, for starters, let me just tell you, he was the husband of Bathsheba. You know the story of David. He had an affair with Bathsheba. But in that story, there was a couple of character traits that I just want to bring out. He was faithful to the king, and he was committed to the kingdom. You see, David, trying to cover his sin, brought Uriah off the battlefield and wanted him to go home and be with his wife so he could cover David's sin. But Uriah slept at the door of David's house there. He did not go home. Twice this happened. So he was faithful and he was committed. Now I want to say to you that God's not going to do what David did concerning Bathsheba. But you and I should be committed and faithful to the king and to the kingdom of God. We need to push past our feelings and our desires and be faithful and committed. Now, he was called a hero. He joins the ranks of Eleazar, who we talked about earlier this week, who clung to the sword and how we need to cling to the sword of God. Shammah, who took a stand all by himself. Benaiah, who did great deeds. Abishai and Asahel, who were brothers, who pursued the enemy. And now Uriah the Hittite, who was faithful and committed to God. My friends, in a culture in which we live in today, there's a lot of people that are not faithful. They're not faithful to their spouse. They're not faithful to God. They're not faithful to their jobs. But we need to be faithful and committed to our spouse, our jobs, but most of all, to God. And if we're faithful and committed to God, I can tell you it'll make it much easier to be faithful and committed to those around us. Well, I hope you have a wonderful week, and God bless you. We'll see you back on Monday. Bye-bye.